Hello, friends. Ever consider we may be in a state of malnutrition? The lack of wholesome meals are major contributing factors towards disease and behaviors, just like oil and gas to a working vehicle. Not to mention lifestyle are very real considerations. After 20 plus years of listening, surveying, observations, and hosting retreats, I interacted with many patients and their families. I myself was a patient overcame 3 major health challenges. My experience and insights will help to equip you, my audience, to unpack and eliminate guessworks before you visit your doctors. Welcome to my show, Optimize Wellness and Maximize Life by way of 1 degree change. Hello, welcome again to 1 degree change. I am a retired Dr. Mary Axness. I'm so excited to see you all, and this is episode number 10. We are going to talk about a 3-part series this time, and my topic is about control, or how you can control yourself, others, and other matters that can result in your adapting to a new habit called 1 degree change. And I hope this will help you begin to understand not just our physiology, not just what you eat, but very importantly is how you can avoid as much stress and stressors that lead to a disease. As I said, is a 3-part series. The first part is about what you can and cannot control. And the second part is about common things that occur in life that we think we have no control, but we actually do. And we will dissect that. And it has a lot to do with things that happen around our household, topics we need to talk about, but afraid to discuss, which causes a certain type of stress. Number 3 part, now I have to say, this can be a very, very unlimited, many topics, but we're only going to focus on 3. Well, the final part 3, will be about our physiology, how stress will affect our body, well, what internal system is the best part we pay attention to when we feel like a stressful situation is coming along. Now, all that said, let's begin to focus on my book, and it's called Optimize Wellness and Maximize Life, right here, and it is right here. Let's see if you can all see it. Optimize your wellness and maximize your life. I did get this title a ways back when I met a very special, just absolutely wonderful medical doctor, MD, and he wrote a book, and I happened to be at an event where he spoke. Somehow he handed his own book to me, and I said, okay, I'm going to buy a copy. But as I just bought the copy, he took it and he wrote on the inside of the book, says, optimize your wellness and maximize your life, Mary. And guess how long ago that was? Close to 20 years ago. I would have to say at least 18. And I held that deep in my heart, but because I didn't want to be so stressed out, I did not know back then how to even write a book. But all I want to do is to see patients and teach them different parts and putting it all together to compose optimize wellness and maximize life. So I want you to consider especially getting this book so we could have classes, Zoom class, as well as in-person seminars and summits. So before I go, I want to, uh, before I get started, I want to say personally, it has to do with how I control myself, how I control my environment, how I control my relationships that will bring on stress or help me de stress. Because in the medical community, stress is considered the biggest killer. Now, they may not directly say it to your face, but mark my word, if you start paying attention and activate this 1 degree change, you realize you can be in control and allowing what amount of stress to come and disrupt your peace. That's what it's all about. Stay peaceful, peaceful with yourself and peaceful with those around us. And life happens. So let's dive into it. But before that, I want you to hear a testimony how I got out of one of the worst illness I have had that lasted almost 2.5 years. And it I was healed over 10 years ago. And watch this. Hi, Dr. Mary Axness here. At age 72, I finally retired. And guess what? I wrote a book. It's called Optimize Wellness and Maximize Life. And you know what? God healed me from 3 major medical challenges. One of them was a serious brain concussion injury over 10 years ago. And the doctor said there's nothing they can do other than just sit on the porch and rock. That didn't sit well with me at all. So I do what I knew best to do. Eat myself back to health, plus co-labor with God, and did a lot of study and understand how to feed the brain well and recover. Now I can say, order this book. I'm going to have classes over this too. And come along and grow young with me. Retirement is just a new chapter. Well, welcome back. Get my book because there's a lot of nuggets in it. And I want everyone to know everything is possible, especially with God. Now, I want you to notice one thing. Whatever you do, you should enjoy it to the fullest. And I'm so happy to be on this particular platform called I Have Today. After all, we only have today. So value each part of yourself to be in peace and in exuberant joy so that you can enjoy your vitality. And I want to see you, hear you, and give me your feedbacks by sending your questions to the appropriate website that is listed here. Now, getting back to stress, what we can control. Now, in my book, in one of the chapters, specifically chapter 4, about optimizing our wellness, we're talking about stress and stressors. And I have on page 70, do go get my book, is called Optimize Wellness and Maximize Life. Now, I wanted to remind each of us there's only one thing I ask that we put into practice on each episode. So I have a diagram that have 2 circles. One is the inner circle. That circle are things that I can control, things that I know that no one can interfere, my choices. And then there are things that are outside of that circle. That's outside my core. What are they? They are other people's action, other people's words. We have such a conflict with words that come out and we don't even mean it because we didn't think through. Does it help other people? Does it serve progress? So, what are things that you can control? And what are some of the things that you can't? For instance, I have finally realized after holiday, I lost control of my closet because we have so many seasons, 4 seasons. And that's just one example. One day it was really hot, another day it was wet and freezing. And so there's you have partial control. So I would go into my closet and pull out one of the warmest uh, jacket. And it's like today, I have to have more clothes than I feel I needed. And also, just to give you an example, the last few months, the weather was so drastic. It was snowy and then power outage and tree limbs come down. You really don't have control over that. So we have to kind of adjust our attitude, how we can take in stress. Does it belong to us or does it belong outside? And that's what I mean by outside of our control. And other people's, the way they act, the way they play, and then other people's mistakes. Now, I would not call this a total mistakes. Recently, my husband had to have surgery. Well, he had waited a little too long, and the procedure was a lot more strenuous, and it requires the wound healing takes a lot longer. And because of that, he lost control of his arm, his right hand, which is his dominant hand. Guess what? Indirectly, it really affected me because I became a caregiver. I didn't have a whole lot of control, uh, but I certainly cannot check out. And so there are variables that we have to be uh, cognizant of. And I think part of it is having self awareness. That would be part of the answer, part of the key to how we can handle stress. I'm well aware. Uh, I'm pretty uptight the last few days when I didn't know what the outcome can be. And because I didn't have a chance to ask all the questions, even though I did attend one of the pre-operative consultation. But some of the questions I have to ask myself, does it serve progress? And in that instance, it's an example that it really didn't serve the progress I wanted it to. So I'm also part of the problem too, because I didn't ask enough questions. Now, granted, the surgical schedule was back and forth because of holidays. As it turned out, one of the surgeons was off, and so for whatever reason, it got delayed. And so there are many things that are out of our control. So if we can see it from that point of reason, saying, I have no control over it because it depends on other people's behaviors and timing and words and opinions. Recently, because of holidays, I have so many family members came and they stayed. And so we have a good time. So a lot of things were delayed. So I didn't have total control of what I want to get done fast enough, on time. So I have to give myself room. And that's called being a friend to yourself. You have to serve yourself too. And to continuously educate yourself. One of the things I ask myself is, hello, how is your garden growing, Mary Mary? Is it growing okay? And that's when I am aware, mm, it's not the best day. So I kind of slow down a little bit, give myself like 5 minutes for a cup of tea, and also uh, make sure I drink a lot of fluid. After all, this is called 1 degree change, and I'm adjusting. And also, we only have today. So I value myself enough to adjust and know how much stress I'm taking in or how much stress I'm actually saying it belongs out there. It doesn't belong to me. And let's have some water too. Then things that I can control, what are they? I say, what I put in my laundry, what kind of detergent I want to use. We have so many visitors. Everybody's trying to say, I use this. You really should use this. And I go, mm-hmm. I didn't take it in. And they're actually trying to help, but I didn't need that particular help. And things I can control is the way I handle them. Uh, there were plenty of opportunity for offenses. And I go, that doesn't belong to me. And so I just either let it go or walk past it. Oh boy. Because, for instance, I am a naturopathic doctor, a nutritionist. I have no idea how much sweets my in laws love to eat. And it's all over there ice creams, movies, sweets, chocolates, you name it. It was like so much. So I have controlled. So I take a little bite. And in fact, let me tell you a story that I have control over myself. Well, I met some new couple, and that was many years ago. I had no idea. First time meeting, I didn't know this person just shoved a bunch of candies into me. And they said, it's called Hershey Kiss, and I want you to have them. And I said, okay. So I took a couple, and then I realized she was waiting for me. She wanted me to eat it right there in front of her. And that's not something I wanted to do. So I just said, I'll have some later. She got so upset, but I didn't realize she was so excited about introducing me to the place called Hershey, Pennsylvania. That's where she's from. We haven't really been introduced to each other. Oh, and I just realized the Hershey Kids chocolate is from that city. Oh my goodness. So I said, I'm so sorry that I didn't quite appreciate the chocolate, but I was so thirsty I couldn't even eat any sweets. And you know what she said to me? It was very hurtful. She said, you don't like chocolate? You're sick. And I go, oh my goodness. And that was her words, almost trying to pierce in. But it's like I have an invisible shield. I control what comes in here. But long and short of it, that relationship actually lasts a lot longer. And nothing happens. I didn't really bother to correct this chocolate enthusiast. So, also, false responsibility. I know a couple, they came to me and they became my patient. And I observed them and I said, there are some things I just wanted to understand. How come one is doing so well and the other one is constantly feels oppressed? As it turned out, she has no control of her own emotional center. Well, as it turned out, her husband says whatever it is that she was doing, she passed it to me. And I have no place to go. So I said, is that false responsibility? And he just go, I have never thought of that. I thought I was just going to take in every emotional trauma she experienced. So it depends on personality. It depends on uh, uh, real self-awareness to control the stress. And I want to remind everyone, one of the things that I have learned for over 70 years is me can control me. I'm in the very center. Outside of me, maybe relationship, circumstances. And guess what? Circumstances. Next time, we're going to talk about one of the major circumstances and issues that really bring in stress. And that will be for next Monday, uh, uh, next Monday's episode. So know what you're dealing with, who you're dealing with. Be a friend to yourself. Be kind to what stress you allow in, and so that you can keep your peace. Peace is high value commodity these days, and when people lost their peace, they become very anxious, and fear would come in, worries would come in, but you can control it. So the 1 degree change today is talking about how grateful. Wow, because when internal stress comes in and we do not know how to differentiate, and you can end up be so taxing on your own emotional bank account. So what's needed is internally, I have to be honest with myself, what I can handle and what I cannot handle. That's what I mean by, is it false responsibility? Does it serve me, serve others well? And would it be better for me to just say, oh, I'm really, really sorry. I didn't mean it that way. And will you help me to identify what it is? What I should have probably say to that chocolate Hershey lady is, oh, I'm so sorry. I didn't realize you were so excited. You meant to share something good with me. But I barely even knew her name. But she was so excited. And so I missed that boat. But nonetheless, it takes two to tango. And so I gave you some examples of what you can control and what you cannot control. As far as relationship, there's so many variables. So in the middle is you. On this other ring is maybe family, children, parents. Then if you go out another ring, it'll be co-workers and community people, uh, even your neighbors. That's why you have fences to keep you from being affected by their issues. Then another ring outside is your community. We have like neighbors that organize all kinds of activities, so the interaction and time can actually bring on stress to your peace. Then some messages are very urgent. Oh, 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 someone would say, I need your key. I said, why? And she said, well, my car isn't working. I said, that's not my responsibility. Or somebody would knock on my door and say, would you jump my car? I said, uh, I'm not able to. Now, some of these are neighbors, but I don't know them well. So you have to be very careful how you allow stress to come in, and it can happen really quick. So, another circle outside, I have families overseas, and they are under and subject to different governing body. And so I didn't get to see them and I missed them. So that's my internal stress. But I have to be careful who I share it with. Some people can help and some people can be very repulsed because they have no clue. And we don't know what people are walking through. And so for some people, some things are very urgent. Their urgency is not always my urgency. So finally, we have to prioritize which specific thing are stress or stressors. Remember the outer ring? Uh, we had a robbery several uh, door down, and it was scary. And I have to put that issue way out there. And if anything bad happened, I will treat them, I call them Al Qaeda is over there, doesn't belong to me. So I can be empathetic without taking in all the stress. I hope this has helped you. Let's regroup, identify what is worth my while. Does it serve my health and wellness? Do I have awareness and honesty with myself? Is it something I can take on or something I cannot take on? Other people's attitude and words and actions, but first and utmost, I have to be kind to me so that I can sleep well at night and recuperate from the expenditure. I call it my bank account, and don't overspend it because it's you who are in charge. Anyway, let's have a moment of reset. I'm so grateful that I have good friends and families, and thank you that I could sleep well, eat well, sweat, poop, eat, swallow. It's a good day, and I'm so thankful. After all, we only have today. Thank you for watching. Next week, don't forget part two of stress and stressors.